for anybody who doesn't know what like Booker's setup is, the school is, as far as wrestling school goes, it's huge, right?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, they got a great number of trainees, and they're all different levels. So you have like the really experienced guys who are coming in every week, and it's a cool mix because you have guys who've been wrestling for like 12 years, like a Gino and Ryan Davidson, and they're there just like fine tuning.
Yep.
And then you have people who are a few years in, kind of like they have the basics, but they're just getting better and better, right?
Right.
Like,
Zach Mason
or Clay Roberts. Yeah, like those guys are just going to be better and better, right?
Right.
And then you have like the beginners.
Yeah.
And like that is, from that stage to that second stage is the longest gap.
It really is, yeah. Especially like when you, like once you get past that and you watch people behind you do it, you're like, oh, I've been there. And, you know, like from where I am, I guess, or I was, and seeing where they are, I'm like, oof, he's got a way to go.
Right, yeah.
But you can tell the potential. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Moving like an athlete and things like that.
Exactly. From the beginning, really, how I really progressed is once you get all the moves down and all like what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, like once you get that down, really for me, it was doing matches, and whether that was like practice matches or like matches on the road or matches at Row, it was watching myself do all these things and be like, I don't need to do that next time, or I really like that.
Right.
And I think how I progressed so quickly is because I took the initiative and I didn't wait for anybody to say, hey, who wants to do a practice match? I was in there like before training every day, getting a match in and getting a match in and getting a match in for my own sake.
Yeah.
And then having somebody watch and say, hey, what can I do better here? What do you think here? And so I was doing that over and over and over and over a few months in, because I didn't have 10 years to wait.
Right.
So I wanted to do it now. I didn't want to wait.
So as you're getting started with wrestling, right? Was your first match with Reality Wrestling?
Yeah. It was January of 2018.
January 2018, and I think you remember the month specifically, right?
Well, that was my turn. That was March.
Okay, so that came later.
Yeah.
So Booker has this thing where he likes to make up gimmicks for guys, right?
He does, yeah.
And a gimmick, is your character, your personality, whatever. No matter what, you have to offer, no matter what your idea is, he's going to come in with something different.
Yeah, well, and as he should. He's the Vince McMahon of reality wrestling.
Exactly.
Right?
He calls the shots, right? Yeah. This is his show.
Yeah.
I dealt with it.
Yep.
You dealt with it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I came in, I wrestled there for like a year, and I was myself. I was Rex Andrews, and we're going along, and then one day he comes in and training, and he goes, yeah, we got to change your name. But that's like my name. Like, why do we have to? Nah, Rex doesn't sound like he kicks anybody's ass. Okay, well, so he's like, well, I'm going to come up with a name.
Yeah.
All right, so he goes and he's like doing bench press or whatever. He comes back in a set later and he's like, you're Russian. Okay, he comes up with a Russian name. I'm like, I don't know Russian names, whatever. So he comes back, he leaves, he comes back, goes, you're Sergei Volkov, you're Russian, it's going to be great. That sounds pretty terrible, Book. But like, all right, well.
Especially after you've been wrestling for a year.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
name.
No, he's just Russian now.
Yeah.
He was from Alabama a month ago. No, he's Russian now. Okay.
Did you have to talk with an accent?
I just refused to.
Okay.
I'm not going to do this well.
Yeah.
Which is not the best approach. If anybody, like young wrestlers are listening, I wouldn't recommend that.
No.
But, the Russian thing wasn't the best. But I think I got you beat, though. I think yours might be a little worse.
Yeah, well, I have two. So I have two.
That's true. You do have two. You're part of the family.
Right before I turned into the Legion character.
Right.
He changed my name to Will Lockhart. So my first match was my real name, Will Allday.
Okay.
Right, which I had been dreaming of and thinking about, and like, oh my gosh, I get to use my name in all these bright lights, and it's going to be like on billboards, it's going to be everywhere. He's like,
nah.
Right? Nah. So I go in the meeting, and I don't know this until show day. I don't know this until a couple hours before I go into the meeting, and I get in there, and the first thing Book says is, what do you think about the name? And he's in there, and Kevin's in there, and Matt's in there, and Brad's in there, and Bruce Pritchard's in there.
Yeah, like the inner circle, the producers.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at them all, and I just say, I was like, well, I'd rather use my name. And he goes, well, what name you got? And that kind of threw me off guard. I was like, well, mine, and I guess he didn't actually know what my name was.
He thought you just made that up.
Yeah, so I was like, well, Will Allday. And he starts laughing.
Yeah.
And he starts laughing, and he goes, nah, that's stupid. And so, like, I just keep a straight face. I'm not going to, like, again, this is my second match, I think.
Right. You're just happy to be on the show.
Yeah, I'm happy to be on the show. And, again, I realize that we all have parts to play, and this is his show, right? You do what the boss tells you to do. So straight face, I'm like, okay. And then Brad, thank God, in the background is like, well, Book, that's his real name.
Yeah, I mean, if he was making it up, I guess that'd be one thing.
Yeah, that's his real name. And so Book kind of got caught off guard too. He was like, oh, well, that name's just not going to make any money. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'll do whatever. And he goes, and I don't want people to hold it against you. You're going to be Lockhart. You're going to be Will Lockhart. And that was because I guess I reminded people of the Lockhart brothers before, because I had like longer hair and I had like I didn't have any facial hair at the time, so I kind of looked a little bit more like him and maybe worked like him. He had
a little bit of movement, kind of like Eric Lockhart, and they were like, popular tag team. And I think Brooke has like he's got 16 gimmicks in his mind at once. Like, that's it. Like it's like, you're the Lockhart. You remind him of it. That's it.
And I think because they had left, I think it was also kind of like, let's screw with them a little bit.
Yeah. Right? We're screwing with the Lockharts, and we're screwing with Will
Allday
all at the same time.
Yeah. So he likes to play his little games, and I'm game for it.
Right.
Now I'm more cognizant of that. Right.
Right.
When
so at the time you're trying to figure, like, why would this doesn't make any sense? Why would you make me?
I have a name built for wrestling. Why aren't we using it?
Right.
And so I had leaped that hurdle. I thought. And then I got changed into a demon gimmick.
Right. So the premise of the whole gimmick was that there's this demon character, Legion, and every month he was like taking over someone else and adding them to their crew. Yeah. And they didn't have names for the people adding in the crew, right? So like the first couple months it was like, well, January, February, and then March. You came in. Yeah. And so
my name is March.
March.
Yes. Yeah. So that was hard to tell people.
Yeah. What's your wrestling name?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like a demon named March.
Yeah, that was a little tougher. But since I did have the gimmick, it still didn't hit. It still didn't wasn't straight to the heart like the Lockhart thing was.
Gotcha.
Because the Lockhart,
you can't be you. Yeah. You have to be this other guy.
I'm still me, but now I have a different name.
Yeah.
Right. Which is what you got to expect if you're going to go to like WWE.
Right.
Right. So I'm glad we did that, because it's another little test. Like, okay, now I know how to handle that. Now I know, what to expect. So, as much as I hated it, which I truly hated it, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you're out on the independents, and you're wrestling at other places like Dallas and Austin, places like that, and you're wrestling under the name Will Allday, right?
Yes, yes.
So you're building like name value to your own name while all this is happening.
Right.
So that when you got out of Legion...
which was a year later.
A year later.
Instead of 1 month, it was going to be 1 month. Then it was going to be 3 months.
Yeah.
And then
didn't Clay Roberts kill you? He electrocuted you?
Yep, I've died in a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta love wrestling, man. It's the weirdest. Wrestling's weird.
It's fun.
It's real fun. Yeah. It's silly. I just like being less attached to it now and just kind of like staying in touch with the road stuff. Sometimes I'll see like a clip on Twitter and I'm like, man, this is interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the stuff I see people do, I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Not for me.
Not for me, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, exactly.